Hello guys. So today we are here with our next video. It is on WBCS English paper for mains and it is about dialogue writing. This is presented by Educare and it's prepared by me NR Yelmo. So let's come to the topic. Friends, what is dialogue writing? What is a dialogue writing? If we are to know this in literary terms, it means it's a technique in which the writer employ two or more characters to be engaged in conversation with one another. Simple. Two people are speaking and the writer is writing about those two people and they are as if they are engaged in a conversation in a very normal way. In literature, it's conversational passage or spoken in a written exchange of conversation in a group or between two persons directed towards a particular subject. There will be a subject, there will be a set of person, maybe in a group or between two persons, and they will be written in a conversational manner or in a spoken manner. Next is what is required to write an dialogue. For writing an effective dialogue, it requires dramatic power, as the writer has to see both the sides of the question. By this, I mean he will be making in two imaginary persons, and then he will write as if he is the hero also and he is the other person also. Both it is him. So that way he will be writing, and he will be expressing their contradictory or countering opinions. It should look very natural. How should a good dialogue be? Ideally, an ideal dialogue should be composed that it should be so composed that it appears to be spontaneous. By spontaneous, we mean that it is not fabricated, it is not made. Okay, it should not appear as if there is like somebody is trying to make very artificially, and it should be well within the context. The next part it should be well within the context. The reader should not feel that it is premeditated or fabricated piece of conversation. That is what I told you. It should not be like artificial kind of thing. So what does a writing of a dialogue require? It requires careful preparation, because you are writing as if you are a two person or more than two-person. So in order to write effectively, you have to make rough outlines of dialogue writing before actually starting the dialogue writing. In WBCS, question on dialogue was introduced in the year 2015. Since that time, when the essay was done away with, and the questions on dialogue writing we find in the year 2015, 16, and 17, but from 2018 we see no dialogue writing questions. So now the question starts. Since past 2 years we did not see any question on dialogue writing, is it necessary that we make preparation on dialogue writing? I would suggest, considering the unpredictability of PSC, it will be unwise for you all to stop preparing on dialogue writing, because PSC every year comes up with something new. It is so unpredictable. So it will not be wise for you all to stop practicing dialogue writing. So for a foolproof preparation, do prepare dialogue writing. Things to do while attempting dialogue. First thing is that you all should read the question, the requirement of the question, as many times as possible, so that we understand what is the need of the question. Number two, you have to think over the subject and make a, say, note, opinion, like what you are going to do. Make two imaginary characters, and then you try to write down about them slowly. Then after writing these ideas, you arrange them in logical order, and you should, as we have already discussed, you should try to make it as real and spontaneous as possible. It should not be fabricated, it should not look very artificial, and your character should speak in easy, familiar, and natural way in conversational tone, as if we speak, okay? So it should be very easy way. Next is never let any character monopolize the conversation. No character should prevail over the other. Let every character get a fair chance. You should distribute their role equally. Interruption by the other person may be done to add to the dialogue's naturalness. What happens when we talk, when we make conversation? What do? Is we tend to interrupt people in conversation, isn't it? So interruption you can do from time to time, but don't make it unnatural by doing it frequently. Interjections such as good heavens, how nice, splendid, wow may be used from time to time, but this too very sparingly. You should not make it frequent. Next is beginning should be interesting so as to arrest the examiner's attention. The dialogue should be overall engaging. Now you made your beginning interesting, but then the taste, the flavor, it ended up as you keep on writing, and it's not very engrossing. So you will not get good marks because just think, if somebody, if you are to read a story, you start reading, and if you don't find interest, then you leave it. So beginning should be good, no doubt about it. But after beginning, if the story is not that engaging or not that engrossing, then you again leave it in midway. So the dialogue should be overall engaging. Next is, since this is a question on English writing, your grammar should be correct. There should be no grammatical errors. Grammatical error could be fatal, leading to marks deduction, and punctuation marks should be accurately done. Next is the end should not be abrupt. You should not make abrupt endings, and the dialogue should be as natural, as interesting, and realistic as possible. No exaggeration, no overwriting, no overdoing of things should be done. Next is, you have to practice. It is the only way to write a dialogue successfully. Now let's talk about the previous year questions. Write a dialogue between two elderly persons on the failure of the study of humanities in India. So these days people are choosing science over humanities. So you have to write a dialogue between two elderly person on the failure of the study of humanities. So this we will do. This we can do as practice at our home before going for the mains 2020. And write, the next one is 2016, write a dialogue between two persons on fitness and healthcare. And 2017 we got a dialogue between two elderly persons on appropriate age of superannuation. Superannuation means the age of retirement in government services, naturally. And practice set, I've given you 3. Try to do this. If we can, we will come up with more questions on dialogue writing in our next videos. So write a dialogue between two persons on the role of media in reshaping Indian psychology. Role of media in reshaping Indian psychology. Next is write a dialogue between two friends on the precedence of skill acquisition over higher education. And the third one is write a dialogue between two elderly persons on the change of generation from social world to social media. So these are the 3 questions that we have tried to give you for practice at home. Do practice on this. If you have any feedback, you can write it on our comment section. And friends, I hope this presentation of ours, you find it productive. And if you have any doubts, you can write in our comment section. If you liked our efforts, you subscribe to our channel.